Now things are getting interesting because there's something going on and something going down in front of, well, up under everybody's nose that nobody pays attention to and nobody can see but me. But in order for me to pull you up the code to bring you to where I'm at, you're going to have to pay attention to these next set of videos that's coming out very closely, and you're going to have to follow them along because trust me, they are all connected. And when we get to the video, that's going to be the culmination of all these videos, you're going to know because I'm going to tell you, okay? But you just got to pay attention. Now, the truth of the matter is, boxing is on the line when it is Francis Ngannou versus Anthony Joshua. This is true. There is no denying it. Can't nobody say it. Okay? It is on the line. Okay? Because the reputation is gone. Why? Because we set ourselves up playing racial politics in boxing. We overpuffed somebody and gave him too much credit. We sent them out there. He got his bubble popped. Boxing and all of the sport was hanging on behind him. So it kind of left us looking stupid at the end of the day. That's what it is in the all sum of things. And then it's up against MMA out of all things. Okay? That's basically what all this is in a nutshell. You know, the difference is I just don't take the time to decode what we really want to talk about. You know, and that's basically what it is. Now, this is the thing. Okay? Anthony Joshua has to throw the sport on his shoulder and go defend boxing. Whether you like it or not, there's no other way to put it because that's exactly what has to happen. That's exactly what's going on. That's exactly how you have to look at it. And if there's anybody who's knocking the fight or him knocking Francis Ngannou, I feel you should have had that energy once you find out that the WBC has put him in their rankings. I think you should have had an outcry then. But if the sanctioning bodies, which been around since we don't know how long, has the nerve to put this guy, you know, in their top 10 or in their rankings or whatever you want to call it, and you had nothing to say about it, then hey, that is boxing. Because let's not forget, we are talking about a sport where we put somebody in the Hall of Fame for being an actor. Okay, remember that. That's a marker. Okay, remember that. All right. So there should be nothing wrong with it. But the truth of the matter is, he has to go defend that stuff. You know, and he could lose. And this is the thing. All right, we got to talk about this realistically. This is the thing. UFC and people from who like UFC or UFC background or whatever you want to call it, they've been shitting on boxing any and every chance that they have got. Something that I have never understood, even from people who I respect in the MMA world. You know, even from people like Joe Rogan and all that stuff. Yeah, you know, boxing is trash. You know, if a boxer gets into an MMA fighter, it's going to be this and that. He ain't going to have a chance. Even Conor McGregor talking about, well, you know, boxing, it's not a real fight. It's a half of a fight and all this other stuff. They love to throw jabs at boxing all the time. Something that I don't understand, and I'm going to tell you why. Because all the boxing fans that I know, we never shit on UFC. All boxing fans that I know are fans of UFC and like UFC. But what I know about boxing fans is they don't go out of their way to jab at UFC. I've never heard a boxing person say anything negative about UFC. That it's trash, that they're garbage, that, you know what I'm saying, nothing. You know what I'm saying, never. But always from the UFC side, it's always, oh, boxing ain't this, boxing is that, boxing is trash and this stuff and that. And that's primarily because, in a nutshell, boxing is a sport, is a black and brown dominated sport. That's primarily why they throw jabs at it. And I'm going to prove it because it doesn't make no sense. Just like I always say, boxing is the frontline combat system to all combat systems. When at any point do you step into a fight that you don't use your fist? It does not make any sense. Okay? A good set of hands will carry you further in the UFC than any other attribute. How I can say this, because it's been proven. If you look at all their dominant fighters, okay, they're all people who had a good set of hands. Okay? You can go from McGregor, you can go from Even GSP, and he's a full around fighter. But what did he do? He has full around game, but even with that full around game, what did he do? He went back and put emphasis right back on that all around game, right back on his boxing. Nate Diaz, they got to step up right back with their boxing. Chuck Liddell, he wasn't no kick you, ground and pound you dude. He was a knockout artist. He was good with his hands. Look at all their great fighters. They got good hands. Okay? And all of them know you got to go back and double back up on boxing. So the disrespect, I never understood it. Because when do you walk into, if boxing's so garbage, then walk into a fight and don't use your hands then? You be like, that's dumb, that don't make no sense. Yeah, so how do you disrespect your grandfather? That's all boxing is, it's your grandfather. UFC is boxing evolved, like UFC from karate, that's evolved. Boxing is your grandfather. How you gonna disrespect one half of the fighting component of the human body? Boxing is trash, so let's throw away our arms and let's just, just hands and grappling, right? Of course not. How many fights have been won in UFC off hands alone? A good set of hands in the UFC will carry you a long way. Yes, no? I think so. So I never understood the disrespect. Because they all come back and double back their emphasis on boxing. They don't come back and double up. They might, tighten up the judo and all that other shit. You know what I'm saying? But they all, once they want to tighten up that game, it still go back to boxing. It's still part of the system in which they use to fight, which is in a totality mixed martial arts, because it takes everything. So that's like disrespecting, karate is crap. Judo is crap. Wing Chun is crap. This is crap. How are you going to call that crap? If you can use it in a fight and it's useful, how could it ever be crap? So I never understood that attack, but that's just explaining that shit to show you that that's always been an unnecessary argument. Truthfully, we're both the same fans, because most UFC fans, you guys are like us. We want them dudes to stand up as soon as they lay down. Most people are not interested in the lay down stuff. You like the stand up stuff just like we do. Truthfully, we are the same fans. But is boxing on the line at the end? Hell yeah, it is. Even though it's the grandfather, even though there's no comparing it, you gotta understand. Tyson Fury went out there and fell on his ass. We was playing racial politics. We told the world he was Ali. We went out there and got our, and notice I said we, because I'm part of boxing. I have to go along with this shenanigans too. I'm not happy about it, but that's just the way it is. And Anthony Joshua is the only one who's going to restore that. I know it sounds like a saga to a movie or something, but this is exactly what's going on. But it's even bigger than that. So keep paying attention. Like, comment, subscribe. Bruce Fan, I'm out.